Goldman Sachs predicts that home prices will sink 19% in Austin, 12% in Seattle, 16% in Phoenix, 15% in San Francisco by late 2024 compared to late 2022 levels. While the housing market overall remains tight, those four cities have seen big increases in inventory and supplies overwhelming demand. Goldman sees a 6.1% decline in home prices nationwide for 2023 as mortgage rates head back to 6.5%, which could be attributed to Federal Reserve's aggressive rate hiking cycle. Housing affordability is currently at historic lows, and median existing home prices for all housing types in January was $359,000, which is 1.3% increase from the same month in 2022. Sales of existing homes have dropped 12 straight months, and buyers are starting to gain more purchasing power and potentially benefit from lower home prices. Tom?
Well, what we're getting is what's called a rollback. And a rollback is when maybe something spikes up and then it rolls back immediately because maybe the spike wasn't what it should be. All those cities, Austin, Seattle, Phoenix, and San Francisco, had real big spikes between July of 21 and the end of 22. And so now that's kind of coming back down a little bit. And those people right now are panicking because, a realtor knocks on your door and says, hello, sir. Yeah, your home was worth $450 a year ago. Now your home's worth $7. They're looking at that and they're like, I should harvest this profit. And so they're putting them on the market, but they're putting them on the market at a time where the prices are shifting. And so with so much on the market, if you can stomach the interest rates, like 6.5 right now, those markets are a good place to start looking around to buy. I know that doesn't help you, Vinny, here in South Florida. We were talking about you looking for a condo. Mm-hmm. South Florida, not the place to be doing that right now. It hasn't shifted that much. But Pat, what we're seeing is a rollback in the super spike. And now there's so much on the market. Buyers have choices. So buyers with good credit that can get that and stomach a 6%, 6.5% mortgage have an opportunity here. And by the way, if the rates go down in a year and you refi at 3.75 or 4, but that's what we're seeing in these markets. It's not the same in the rest of the United States.
So is this a good time to buy or sell?
Well, if you're in a market where the rollback's coming back and there's some opportunities there, and I would compare the price that you're looking at on the rollback to January, February, March, Q1 of 21. Compare it. And if it's coming back there, now you're coming back in reality.
Yeah.
And so I would say make sure you it's not just that the price is dropping from where it was yesterday, it's where the price was dropping from where it was at the beginning of 21.
And Tom, so those places, you said San Francisco, Austin, it's growing, but like Seattle and San Francisco, why is all this inventory coming out? People just leaving because the
people are trying to harvest. What I read this morning, and went to NerdWallet. They have a really great writer there who is very moderated and steady in his analysis. And they were pointing out that these were the areas that had super spikes. And the tenor from sellers is, hey, prices are starting to go down. You know what? I want to harvest the equity that I got in here. I want to harvest the profit and then go figure something out.
Well, let me read this article and I'm going to go to you. So is now a good time to sell your home? WSG. I'm going to put these two stories together. In today's housing market, it's important for sellers to price their homes appropriately as buyers are more price sensitive due to high mortgage rates, and overpricing could lead to fewer offers. Sellers in middle and lower priced segments of the housing market are faring better, while those in a higher price market are experiencing price drops. According to Rob Barber, CEO of Atom Data Solutions, it is also essential to avoid overpricing, which can backfire as buyers are often working with smaller budgets and don't want to spend time negotiating with a seller. Interesting. Overpricing could backfire on the seller. Lastly, sellers may want to wait until later in the selling season to list their homes, as the 5 days in which sellers receive the best premium over their asking price were during the 3rd and 4th weeks of May. Interesting. So the best time to sell your house is 3rd or 4th week of May. Mm-hmm. May 23rd was found to be the most profitable date with a 18.3% premium above market price. May 23rd. Okay. Adam, thoughts?
Well, I was chuckling a little bit because both of you guys, before even Vinny asked, they were like, no, Vinny, now is not the time to buy right now. Yeah. Because Vinny, every episode, there's please. So is now the time?
Yeah, in South Florida.
Exactly. Florida. Well, here's how I'm processing all this real estate wild swings. It's the same thing that we've seen with everything we've seen with the U.S. savings rates and with credit card debt. Since basically COVID started, we've seen these wild swings in how much money people are saving and now how much debt they have, these stimulus checks, the printing of the money. At the end of the day, even with inflation rates and interest rates, COVID, lockdowns, everything, we're still, on our path to this return to normalcy, right? So that's, I think, what's happening here. Now, specifically those cities, we've all seen what's happened in the stock market and NASDAQ over the last 12 months. They've been deflated. So you're talking Seattle, you're talking San Francisco, you're talking Austin, very tech-heavy cities. Meanwhile, you have cities that are big in lifestyle, like South Florida, Miami, Boca, West Palm, Fort Lauderdale. They're increasing. So ultimately, what does this come down to? It's supply and demand, basic rule of economics. So I, too, would look into a place in South Florida relatively soon, if possible, but I don't think that's on the horizon right now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I have to tell you, if there is a market where there will be desperate sellers.
That's what I was going to ask you.
No, there will be desperate sellers because people have history has proven, based on a lot of studies done on 113 billion people that have lived, people have a tendency of making bad decisions.
Really?
And when they make bad decisions, they become desperate.
Pat, I told you
this is proven, by the way, by many scientists on both sides.
Yeah.
So meaning when bad decisions are made, things go for sale, which means there's a lot of things that's going to be on sale, whether it's in a great market, bad market, terrible market, but some markets are going to get hit harder than others. There's no question about that.
I'll start asking less questions, not to cut you off, Tom. Just you three, please, just when that day comes, just because I'm not asking no more.
Only if you promise to stop asking the same question every
I'll
podcast.
tell everybody that's watching, I will never ask again. Just one day, when it is right, walk in and go,
You'll
Vinny,
know, Vinny.
now.
Vinny.
Okay. That's it, because my mom is, I have to make my
handshake agreement.
We'll probably be 6 months too late because no one can predict that.
Yeah,
but
okay.
what you just need to know is it's a hit and miss. Yesterday I got interviewed by a guy. He calls me and says, so we'd like to interview you because we saw that you sold your Wayne Gretzky card for a record-breaking number, the 2 PSA 10s for $2.2 million. So I'm like, okay, this guy's calling from Canada. It's a big paper. They're interviewing. I want to go to this year's Nationals, the big card convention that they do where, a couple 100,000 people go to it. So how does it feel when you bought this card for $540,000 and you sold it for $2.2 million? I said, it felt great. I said, but it didn't feel good 6 months later when one of my cards sold for $3.75 million.
Oh, wow. Wow.
What's it on the market
Did
for
you understand
now,
what you said?
Yeah.
But that's going to be a $20 million card in the next 10, 20 years.
Jeez.
Okay, it's going to that card. You're not going to get your hands on that card. You may never see that card for the rest of your life ever again. It's not a unique card. Here's the point: to time everything, you have to be very lucky to time, and there's people that are going to time it and get lucky with it. You want to make the right decision based on what's going on right now. To me, in my opinion, there's still a lot of uncertainties. There's uncertainties with investigations. There's uncertainties with interest rates. There's uncertainties with war. There's uncertainties with debt. There's uncertainties with leaders at the White House. There's uncertainties with election. There's a lot of different uncertainties. This is a good season to look for some opportunities. I think when if unemployment to me hits the 5%, if there's a marker I would use to buy and make aggressive offers would be if unemployment gets to 5%. That would be my marker. So forget about what I'm saying. Forget about what anybody else is saying. If unemployment's hitting 5%, that is a good time for you to say, I think this is a good time for me to go and make some offers because there's probably going to be some desperate sellers that here's just what happens to life. And it's a very ugly part of life. I was a kid. My parents went through a divorce. When divorces happen, one of the two is going to say, I don't care what you do. Sell the house. I want my equity out of the house. Mm-hmm. So one has to sell.
Yeah.
It's like, but wait, babe, if we sell today, why are you being so dumb and greedy? Did you call me dumb? I'm going to call the lawyers.
Right.
Sell the house right now. It's worth $1.2 million. If we wait for 6 months, we can get 1.2. I don't care. Sell it today. You sell it for $950.
Sure.
Well, the buyer made $250.
Yep.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So the buyer made $250. Divorces are about to go up. If unemployment goes up, these life things are going to happen. It's what's going to happen when people get fired. Life is hard. Mm-hmm. Finances are hard. Meeting your expenses is difficult. And the first thing that takes the biggest hit is what? Marriage. When marriage takes a hit, people make bad decisions financially. Mm-hmm. Most people are not ready financially. Most people are not ready to get married financially, let alone when they get married and a big crisis takes place. Then they make some desperate decisions, which is selling things that they should probably be sitting on They sell it for pennies on a dollar. Go ahead, Adam.
Let me ask you, I fully agree that the hardest thing to do is time the market. You know, they say that the one thing you need to know about investing is not timing the market, it's time in the market. We've all heard this before. I've learned this in real estate. You know, I'm more of a real estate guy. I'm sorry, I've learned this in the stock market and more stock market than a real estate guy. But what do you think is harder to time? It would be probably more appropriate to say it's harder to time the stock market because there's less, there's more things going on that you kind of got to be pay attention to, versus in the real estate market, it's interest rates, right? The job markets, and obviously dealing with people's equities in their homes. But as far as timing goes, because right now is the time.
That's a very good question you're asking. I think it's a lot easier to time real estate than it is to time stock market. You're 100% right. Last week was a weird day in the stock market. You guys see the stock market every day. Bam, 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 bam. Like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
Bam, bam. Walmart, Target. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of interest rate. Oh, it's because of that. But, real estate, it's not as faster of a process. I want to go into car sales to show you something. But before I do, Tom, I'm going to give you the last word on real estate before we move to the next topic.
I was just going to say unemployment rate. Seattle's unemployment rate is almost 4%. It'd been hovering around 3.2 to 3.4. But we heard about layoffs at who? Microsoft, Amazon. So we've seen a lot of tech layoffs. So you've got the Seattle going on, and to Pat's point, the unemployment rate may not be a national figure you're looking at. It may be a local figure.
That's a very good point.
And
That's a very good point.
So what you see here, Seattle is flagged. They were at 3.4, 3.5 the end of the year. And with the things up there, one thing that I read is that the next announcement is probably going to be 4%, 4.1 in Seattle. And what Pat just said is, keep your eyes out when it hits 5% in your market. And if you're in a steady industry, you've got something else going, you have an opportunity.
Rob, pull up what I just sent you right there. Tom, you just made me Google unemployment rates by state. You'd be amazed who's the highest. Before you show it, don't show it. Don't show it. I don't even want them to see it. What state do you think has the highest unemployment rate now? What state has the lowest? Highest. I just texted you the link. Which one has the highest?
Very interesting, because this is where I was going, because the national unemployment rate is what, 3.5%
34, 35 right now.
Okay,
what do you think is the highest? I don't think you're going to get it as your first. Just take one guess. You're not going to get it. I wouldn't have guessed it.
I'm going to guess West Virginia.
Los Angeles is not. You're saying California, so it's not
Los
California.
Angeles, the lovely state of Los Angeles. I love that.
What state would you say? What state would you say?
I'm saying an obscure state that has lost a lot of manufacturing.
It is a big city. No, it is a big state.
City or state?
It's a big state.
I guessed West Virginia already.
Okay, what were you going to say?
I'm gonna go with Texas.
Okay, go for it. Click on it. Zoom in. It's Nevada.
Nevada? Oh, damn.
Nevada's 5%. Go up. No, go up in the bottom. No, the other way. Yeah, right there. Zoom in right there.
Wow.
Nevada's at 5.2%, guys. DC's 4.7, Illinois 4.7, Oregon 4.5, Delaware 4.4.
And by the way, go up to Washington.
Is Delaware that one guy? If you can go back the other way.
There you go.
Is Delaware that one place where that guy lost his job who got a hold of that laptop?
Yeah.
That's Delaware, right?
Yep.
That's probably affecting that. But keep going down.
But it has risen laptop repair.
But his dad,
look at this.
His dad's taking care of him. He knows
Utah's the lowest. Dakotas are the next. Then it's Florida.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
Gets a round of applause.
Let's
Gets a round of applause. By the way, this is the kind of stuff that Governor Ron DeSantis can use when he's running. To say we are the number 4 lowest unemployment rate in America. Say something.
Yeah.
Say
lowest
something.
In America. Interesting to see this data.
How are you processing Nevada almost double where Utah is?
It's entertainment.
Yeah, and think about the population, too. I mean, it's North Dakota, South Dakota, and Utah. I mean, my sister was stationed, and there's a bunch of military bases there. I'm wondering if because, if there's a base,
I will tell you this about Nevada, though. Like, we just signed, we're doing our next MGM event in August, right? And we get the whole MGM Grand Arena. Here's what happened. We are right now negotiating for the next couple years, 2 or 3 years to sign with them. And by the way, they're booked for 4 years. Did you hear what I said? MGM Grand Arena Convention Center is booked for 4 years.
That's insane.
Yep.
So meaning convention business is back. So it's interesting. You're saying, why is Nevada's can you Google why is Nevada's unemployment rate the highest? Why is Nevada's unemployment rate the highest? What would it be?
And so, Pat, they do an event, like some MGM does an event every weekend?
Oh,
Is that what they're doing? Oh, so they're
yeah.
booked for, God, that's insane.
Why is Nevada's? Nevada's unemployment rate jumps to 4.9. The states also saw the large Las Vegas' housing market has cooled amid rising hydro. Okay, so what does that have to do with unemployment? Zoom in. Nevada's unemployment rate 4.1. The state also has the largest increase from October, 0.3%, along with Oregon Department of Labor. Nevada's economy is still recovering from a step downturn and massive job losses during the first ever pandemic. The key hotel and entertainment industry in Las Vegas has bounced back as gamblers are returning. Okay, great. But the city's real estate market has cooled along with other hotspots amid a sharp increase in interest rates. Property managers in Las Vegas are seeing more available rentals.
I have a theory as you're reading this, because you talked about the convention business.
Let's go to the chart.
Keep going down.
Let's go to the chart.
Okay, they're just recovering is what it is.
Well, so it's not up to 4.9.
They were at
it's actually
30%.
down to 4.9.
Yeah.
They're like, we're happy to be at the number we are today.
Well, I think that as you're telling me about the convention business, there's a difference between like corporations and people, just the average working person. Corporations, big events, everything that we do, NALBA, all massive events, that they're doing okay. They're back to business. That's business as normal. But the average person out there isn't exactly balling out in Vegas these days with inflation and interest rates right now. So they're a little bit more struggling versus what all the free money was being printed. That's how I'm processing these numbers.
And for people at home, NALBA is?
Yeah, it's a great conference.
NALBA is for them. NALBA is an insurance conference. NALBA is like one of the bigger, like real estate does their biggest conferences. This is one of insurance's biggest conferences that they do. But again, so this isn't really the fact that Nevada is taking a hit. Nevada is just getting back into the convention business. All I'm saying to you is study that 5% unemployment number. That's the number I would be looking at in my market to look at whether it's time to buy a house or not.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.